You think you can just walk away from me? You say it like freedom is something you can claim so easily, as if all you have to do is turn your back and everything we've lived, everything we've felt, everything that tore itself into the deepest parts of me will simply disappear. You don't understand what you've done. You don't understand who I became because of you. You think distance breaks bonds. You think silence erases truth. No, it only sharpens it. It only reveals what was always real. And the reality is this: you are still inside me, threaded through every instinct, every dark corner, every part of me I never let anyone touch. You don't walk away from that. You can't. You believe that leaving means you're safe from me, safe from whatever you think I'm capable of feeling. But tell me, if you were really done, if you truly wanted nothing to do with me, why do I still feel you? Why does your absence drag at me like gravity, like fate, like a punishment carved from your own hesitation? You may have walked away in the physical sense, but emotionally you are still anchored here, trapped in the space between what you wanted and what you feared. And I feel that war in you. I felt it every time your eyes met mine. I felt it every time you tried to pretend you were unaffected. You were never unaffected. You were terrified because you felt too much. You think I didn't notice how your heartbeat changed when I stepped closer? How your breath faltered? How you'd look away as if distance could protect you from me? But you weren't running from my darkness. You were running from your own. Because when you looked at me, you saw the part of yourself you kept buried, the part that wanted something intense, something consuming, something that didn't make sense in the clean, safe world you tried to build. I was the mirror you didn't want to face. And instead of admitting that you left, hoping leaving would make you lighter, but tell me, has it? Has the silence freed you? Or has it just made the truth louder? You can lie to yourself as much as you want. Pretend this connection was one-sided. Pretend I was the only one who felt it. Pretend you walked away without breaking. But I know better. I know the stain I left on your life. I know the shadows of me that linger in your thoughts when the world goes quiet. You don't forget someone who touched you the way I did. Without hands, without promises, without restraint. You don't escape the kind of pull that rewires your heartbeat. You don't walk away from something that made you feel alive in ways you were never prepared for. You can leave my presence, yes, but me. You will carry me everywhere you go. You think distance gives you power over what you feel. But all it's done is expose you. When you were near me, you could hide behind your breath, your excuses, your carefully held composure. But now the silence betrays you. Now every thought you try to suppress grows louder, sharper, harder to deny. You don't walk away from someone who carved himself into the rhythm of your heartbeat. You don't forget someone who became the thing you feared and desired at the same time. You can run from me, but you can't outrun the version of yourself that only existed when you were mine. That part of you will follow you everywhere. You keep telling yourself you made the right choice. That leaving was protection. That cutting yourself away from me was necessary. But you and I both know the truth beneath that lie. You left because you felt too deeply. You left because you were afraid of what you were becoming. You left because the intensity between us wasn't something you could control, and losing control terrified you more than losing me. Yet here you are, still carrying me in the back of your mind like a bruise you can't stop pressing. You don't walk away from something like this. You just pretend you can. You have no idea how many times I've replayed the last moments you gave me. Every silence, every half-turned glance, every word you didn't say because you were too afraid of what would make real. You think I didn't feel that tension in your voice, that shaking in your breath, that fragile hope that maybe leaving would cut the bond between us cleanly. But nothing about us was ever clean. Nothing was gentle. Nothing was ordinary. You felt something you weren't ready to admit, and instead of facing it, you walked away and convinced yourself you were escaping. But tell me, why does your absence feel heavier than your presence ever did? And here's the part you never understood. I never wanted to trap you. I never wanted to own you in the way you feared. What I wanted was truth. What I wanted was for you to stop running from me, from yourself, from the part of you that lit up every time you felt my attention settle on you. You think walking away saved you, but all it did was leave you suspended between desire and denial. You're not free, you're not untouched, you're not done. Because if you were, I wouldn't still feel you like this, pulling at me from afar, like a heartbeat I was never meant to forget. You think disappearing from my sight would make you disappear from my mind? You underestimate what you've done to me. I don't care how far you've gone, how silent you've become, how tightly you hold your resolve. You're still here, carved into me like a truth I never asked for but can't unlearn. You think walking away ends anything? It only strips away the noise and leaves the raw truth exposed. I still feel you. I still hear you in the quiet. I still sense you in the spaces of my life where you once hesitated to stand. You didn't walk away. You just left your body behind. Everything else, everything that mattered, stayed right here with me. And deep down you know it. I wonder if you ever stop and realize that the version of me you fled from is the same version you created. I wasn't like this before you. Before your voice, your presence, your quiet defiance against everything I was taught to control. You woke something in me, something I didn't even know existed, something dark and desperate and painfully honest. And now you act as if I can just shut it down, as if I can return to who I was before you stepped into my life and tore through every wall I spent years building. You didn't fall lightly into my world. You broke through it. You left cracks in me so deep that no amount of time or distance can seal them. And now you want me to pretend I'm the one untouched. No, you and I both know better. I feel your absence like a wound that refuses to close. It's not the kind that bleeds. It's the kind that burns. Quiet, slow, unrelenting. It sits under my skin and reminds me of every moment you tried to hide what you felt. Every time your eyes softened and you looked away. Every time your breathing changed when you were close enough to feel my shadow on your skin. You think I imagined all that? You think I didn't notice the way your defenses trembled the longer you stood near me? You weren't walking away from a man. You were walking away from yourself. From the part of you that responded to me before your mind could stop it. And that's the part I know still aches for me even now. You call what we had dangerous, but danger was never the problem. Your fear was. You were terrified of the intensity, terrified of how much of yourself you gave without meaning to. You thought if you stayed, you'd lose control, lose reason, lose the version of yourself you were desperately trying to protect. And maybe you would have lost the composed, guarded, self-contained version of you. But in return, you would have found something real, something raw, something that couldn't be measured or explained or softened. But instead of choosing truth, you chose distance. And now you pretend that makes you stronger. But tell me, if you're so strong, why does the thought of me still unsettle you? Why does the memory of us still cut through every layer of silence you hide behind? You want to know the cruelest part of all this? I don't hate you for leaving. I don't even hate you for pretending you felt nothing. What I resent, what burns the deepest, is that you thought I wouldn't feel the difference, that you thought I'd just move on, return to my throne, my duties, my carefully controlled existence, as if you didn't alter something fundamental inside me, as if you weren't the first person to ever look at me and see the man behind the title, as if you didn't mark me with truths I can't unlive. You think you walked away from a prince, but you walked away from a man who would have torn the world in half if it meant understanding the storm you tried so hard to hide. You think you can just walk away from me? Maybe you can. Maybe your feet will carry you away. Maybe your voice will stay silent. Maybe your eyes will never meet mine again. But your heart, your pulse, those betray you. They always have. They always will. And no matter how far you run, my part of you will always turn toward me. Not because you want to, but because you were lying before either of us admitted it. You keep acting like your silence is distance, like ignoring what you feel will somehow sever what binds us. But silence doesn't break anything. It amplifies it. It makes every unspoken truth louder, sharper, impossible to drown. And you think I don't hear it? I hear you in every quiet hour. In every moment the world stops expecting me to be strong and composed and untouchable. That's when the truth cuts deepest, not because you're gone, but because your absence has a shape I know too well, a shape you left inside me. And every time I try to breathe past it, it feels like I'm inhaling the ghost of you, like you never truly left. You simply stepped into a different kind of closeness, one that feels heavier than your presence ever did. You don't understand the kind of damage you caused. You think leaving was clean, that you could slip out of my life the way someone slips out of a room unnoticed. But you didn't slip out. You tore your way free. You ripped yourself from places inside me I never thought anyone could reach. And the cruelest part is that you did it quietly, gently, like you were trying not to wake something dangerous, as if the danger wasn't already awake, as if it wasn't awakened the very first time you looked at me with those uncertain eyes, the eyes you always tried to use like armor, even though they told me everything. You think you left without a trace, but people don't leave without scars. And the ones you left aren't on my skin, they're deeper, in places I didn't even know a blade could touch. Do you know what it's like to crave someone's presence even when you know they're nowhere near? It's a kind of madness that settles beneath the ribs, a slow ache that becomes part of your breathing. I walk through my world surrounded by people, by responsibilities, by expectations that are supposed to consume me. But they don't. They barely make a dent in the quiet storm you left in your place. Everything feels too calm, too orderly, too suffocatingly controlled compared to the chaos your existence stirred in me. You changed the way my world sounded, and now everything feels too quiet without the sound of you trying not to feel what you felt. That quiet eats at me. It's a reminder that you're gone, but that the part of me you awakened refuses to go back to sleep. You tried so hard to convince yourself that stepping away would protect you. But from what? From the truth? From the gravity between us? From the part of you that responded to me even when you swore it wouldn't? You weren't protecting yourself. You were running from your own depth. From emotion you didn't have a name for. From longing you didn't want to admit. You tried to suffocate the fire by walking away, but all you did was starve it, make it burn hotter, hidden beneath your ribs where no one else can see. You think I don't know that feeling? I live with it every moment of every day. You can't outrun what lives inside you. And whether you like it or not, a part of you still lives inside me too. That's not romance. That's not poetry. It's a fact. one you carry like a secret wound. But the part that destroys me the most is this: you walked away thinking you were leaving something dangerous behind. You weren't. You were leaving the only person who ever saw you completely, the only person who looked past your mask, your hesitation, your careful little walls, and didn't flinch. I saw the softness you tried to hide, the darkness you tried to deny, the loneliness you never dared to name. And I didn't turn away. I didn't fear it. I embraced it. I wanted all of it, even the parts you thought were unlovable. And still you left, not because I was too much, but because I made you feel too much. And that frightened you more than anything I could have ever done. You think you can just walk away from me. Maybe your feet can carry you far. Maybe your voice can stay cold and silent. Maybe your eyes will avoid mine until the end of time. But your heart is still facing me. It's still caught in the place where you stopped pretending. It's still tied to the truth you tried so desperately to outrun. You can leave my presence, yes, but you will never leave my hold. Not the kind forged by hands, but the kind forged by truth. The kind you can't escape even when you try.